But my beats, they are hard.
All right. Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Brian Fulford and A.D. Drew here with you. SportsWrap, 9 years running strong, the longest running HBCU sports talk show on the interwebs. Podcasting since before it was podcasting. We're glad to be here with you. Good to see you, Drew, man. I think this is the first show you've done this month or in the last month.
I need you to address me properly, Brian. That's first place, Drew. Along with Edwin Moore. But coming after you, dog.
There is still 5.5 games still to be played today, Drew. So before you start poking out your chest, I would go slow, homie, as the song says. Go slow, homie.
Look, as of right now, entering this show, Edward Moore and I are tied on the men's side. Now my women's bracket, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know, Drew's referring to somehow his 99.4% accuracy rate, or is that being in the percentile, the
99th percentile?
Jesus, okay, so he's a 1%er right now with his pick in our men's BCSN SportsWrap Madness Challenge contest. Drew sitting in first place, tied with Edwin Moore and
Hunter.
Is it Hunter Bedard?
Yeah,
Hunter Bedard.
I think those are just some randos who joined our group.
Yeah, well, hey, it's all good. I posted in a bunch of places, so you three all have 450 points right now. I am sitting with 390 points, tied for 13th. With a few other people. Now, here's the thing, though. I don't feel – I'm okay with you being there because you picked Duke as your national champion. Edwin picked Houston as his national champion. And Hunter picked Florida. And I think all three of you are going to be crying by next weekend. I think all three of you will lose your national champion in the round of 16. Hell, Houston hadn't even played their game yet. Neither has Florida. So,
but my Dukies are still there.
Yeah, your Dukies are in the Sweet 16. Yeah.
Yes.
So, it is what it is. And then over in our women's bracket challenge, let's see who's sitting in first place right now. Sitting in first place is David Rhodes, sitting in first place with 410 points. His national champion is South Carolina. Rogers in second place. He picked UCLA. Kelvin Rozier. Let's see. I am in 11th place. I picked UConn to win it. Let me see. I'm still behind you. You were in sixth.
Yes.
And you picked UConn as well. So a lot of people, I think of the few people, somebody picked LSU. They were just shooting. I think Kelvin. So there's more people who pick UConn than UCLA or UConn. More people pick UConn over South Carolina over in the women's bracket. And I think in looking at the men's bracket, ESPN says the most picked champions were Duke at 23.1%, Arizona at 20.9%, and Michigan at 14.2%. Now, of course, the BCSN SportsWrap, we only have one. So my first bracket was Arizona. And that's who I picked as my national champion. I'm in another league or in another contest where I did two brackets. One champion is Arizona, the other champion is Michigan. So I don't really expect my odds of winning those to get better until we start moving into the Sweet 16. But we'll evaluate things. My biggest bet on it, my biggest challenge on anything, Drew, is St. John's coming out of the East. So that's my Waterloo, so to speak. That's the one that I'm, hoping really burst a lot of people's bubble, because I don't think a lot of people expect much from St. John's, but I think I like this St. John's team that Coach Pitino has. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, I will say this: thus far, Brian, my South bracket has been perfect.
Really?
Yes, I've gotten 11 of the 12 games thus far in the South, and the 12th game won't happen until this evening. But I'm 11 for 11 thus far in the South bracket.
Okay. And in our Survivor contest, I did not survive long. That's all I'm gonna say. Jesus. I mean, the whole objective was to find
you
two
took friendly
winners.
fire, Brian. You didn't even make it to the front line of the war. You took friendly fire.
And this year I changed the Survivor contest this year, because last year, remember, it was every day there was a game. You had to pick a team for the day. This time I shortened it to just say you pick just one by round. And I'm thinking, okay, give me a couple of these, upsets, and just sure enough, nothing. Because chalk is what's been riding. Chalk. It's been chalk so far. So
chalk.
I was gone. My two teams were gone in the first 4 hours, Drew. First 4 hours, I was like, damn, them two?
Where am I at in the survivor pool? I know my two have won thus far. And by the way, just for transparency, I picked Illinois in round 1, and I picked Arkansas in round 2. And Arkansas scared the crap out of me yesterday, but they pulled it out.
They survived. Yeah, and then I was in another Survivor contest where I was picking against the spread, and I made it through day 1, but day 2 just got obliterated. Day 2, the double digit, that was the day that the favorites, all of a sudden, every favorite won, I think, on day 2. And then the only favorite that didn't win was Gonzaga, excuse me. Gonzaga was the only favorite that didn't win yesterday. Yeah. So, favorites have been on a streak right now. And so, yeah, I was, so enough. There go my Survivor contest.
And right, just to know, 6 people survived round 1 of the Survivor pool. But 2 of those 6 people failed to put in a second pick.
Oh my God, are you serious?
There's 4 of us. And
well, they got tomorrow. They got tomorrow though, right?
No, today.
No, today.
Oh, yeah, they had to put it in before the round started. So 4 of us will advance to the Sweet 16.
Jeez Louise.
Road Dogg Reed is in there.
Mike's in it?
Yes, he's still alive in the survivor pool.
Yeah, Mike not gonna forget that kind of stuff.
There's the other champions checking in. Edwin just checked in.
Edwin Moore, shout out
we
to
battling it out,
Moore,
dog.
sitting in first place.
Battling it out, Square.
With that Houston pick. So we'll see how long that lasts. Got to say hello to everybody who's checking in early with us. Thank you to HBCU Band Talk, becoming a new member on the JBN YouTube feed. And I want to encourage all of you, if you'd like to become a member and help support the Black College Sports Network, you can do it in a couple of different ways. Just go to the Join channel there, My JBN Online. So we appreciate you. And we have some other JBN subscribers that have checked in as well, or that usually check in. Shout out to everybody who's in. Emmett Smith, Kenneth Rozier, Jimmy Mack is in. Good to see all of you. Thanks for checking in. Blue Jacket for life, checking in. Lennon Blow, good to see you, Lennon. You posed an interesting question. We'll talk about that here in a second. Mary 305, a JBN subscriber. Happy Sunday to you, Mary. Hope everything is beautiful and nice down in South Florida. Thank you for checking in. And of course, Edwin Moore, the sitting in first place right now in the BCSN SportsWrap bracket.
Tied for first place. Make sure you get that right, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tied for first place.
There you go.
And as I said, Edwin didn't hear this. I'm okay with the fact that he picked Houston because I don't think Houston will be around much longer. So, but anyway, shout out to Jeff Roberts, Aggie Pride, checking in as well.
The good thing is we know Edwin and I won't finish tied since we do have two different national champions.
Right. Yeah. Okay. A lot of basketball over the course of the week. And I thought it was a great week, especially early in the week, to really, hashtag HBCU pride, really shout out what we saw happening in the early part of the week. But before we get into the early part of the week, let's go to what occurred yesterday, Drew, because I want to start here, and I appreciate Emmett Jones for making mention of it, because yes, indeed, L's up with our good friend Coach Chris Wright and the Langston University Lions, who have advanced to the quote Fab Four of the NAIA. Of course, they hosted the first two rounds in their own backyard, so they advanced to the round of 16. Where they faced, they were the 4 seed, or the number 4 ranked team, I believe.
In their quadrant,
okay. And so they faced the number 1 ranked team, I think maybe even the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, and they were either defending national champion or were in the championship game last year
ago. Okay.
Yes.
That was Oklahoma Wesleyan. And I mentioned this last week. The one good thing for Langston is that they played Wesleyan at the beginning of the year, all the way back in November. So it wasn't like they were unfamiliar with this opponent, but they ended up beating them by a score of 56-55. Got a late bucket, a nice drive to the basket with maybe about 8 seconds left on the clock to go up by 1. And they were down by 15 points at one point in that contest to get that win. Yeah, 15 at half.
I think they had cut it to under 10 at half, but they were down 15 probably. And for those unfamiliar with NAIA, they do their media timeouts different in NAIA. But somewhere around the last media timeout, they do their media timeouts at 15, 10, and 5 on the NAIA level. And around that 5 point, they were down probably 14, 15 points at that point in time. But I know 15 was the largest lead, and they just crawled back into it defensively. And there was a point in time in the second half where their opponent probably went 7 clock minutes without scoring a field goal, Brian.
Wow.
Yes. So it was impressive. Back and forth. And Brian, did you happen to see the last play?
Well, I saw it. I mentioned it. I did see it. Yes, I saw it.
I don't know. Hopefully there's some people who are old enough. I don't know how many people remember Vince Carter when he was with the Toronto Raptors.
That was good Vince. That was
that was prime Vince.
Yeah.
When he went back to graduate from North Carolina and then flew back and played Game 7.
Oh, that was an epic moment. Against
the
I remember
Sixers.
that. Yep.
And he had that last second shot, and it rimmed out. That's what happened to Langston. There was a defensive lapse. Who knows how that dude got that wide open from the corner? And the shot literally rimmed out. Langston grabs the rebound and survives. So the other one that kind of reminds you of is the day when Larry Bird got open against the Lakers against James Worthy. They on a failed switch, and once again, it rimmed out, and it was. I mean, I was happy sitting on the couch. And let's see, somebody asked, is the Langston game streamed tomorrow? I believe it is on Urban Edge. Urban Edge has the right to not only the Langston game, but the entire NAIA tournament. But let me warn y'all, if y'all have not watched the game on Urban Edge, those little pop-up ads will come on at the worst time in a ball game and piss you off. Especially, and sometimes the commentators are making a good point, and you get a McDonald's pop-up ad or somebody's pop-up ad.
So is it better to watch it from a computer or laptop, or you watch it on your phone?
I was watching it on my on the app on my TV. They do have an app on the TV. You can download the Urban Edge app, Fire Stick, Google, Apple, whatever type of device you have on your TV. But all I know is the pop-up ads would come at the worst time. And then, Brian, there was the pop-up ad came, and as soon as the pop-up ad went off, they went to an actual real commercial.
Yeah, that tells you that the pop-up ad is part of the algorithm, and they just don't have any control over that. But so the picture you see there is of Langston after their win yesterday over Rocky Mountain, who was the 2 seed, 60-55 in the Elite 8 is what they call that level. And they advanced to the Fab Four. This is the second appearance for Langston in the Fab Four. Of course, 2024 under Coach Chris Wright is the last time. But for Coach Wright, it's the third appearance in the last 5 years that he has been to the Fab Four. Let's not forget, in 2022, he took Talladega to the national championship game.
And lost to the same opponent 4 times.
And then 2024, he took Langston to the championship game. So every time that Chris Wright has gotten to the Fab Four, he has taken his school, his program, to the championship game. So
here's something else,
be 3 for 3.
Brian, and I may be incorrect on this, but I think this is like the 5th consecutive year that Coach Chris Wright has made it to Kansas City.
That one is correct. Yes, it is. 5th consecutive year.
2 with Talladega and 3 with Langston.
I thought it was.
Or is it 3 and 2?
No, it's 4 consecutive years that he's gotten Langston to this round of 16.
So this might be his 6th consecutive year. Because I believe his last 2 years with Talladega, they made it to Kansas City.
I mean, look, Chris Wright is one of the, he is proving himself, proven, E-N, not I-N-G. He's still young doing that too, as one of not only the best recruiters, because let's just admit, he's constantly recruiting new guys, and he finds them, and he coaches the hell out of them, and so they get to where they get to.
So, Brian, we're not going to have the conversation this week.
Not going to do it.
But
I know where you're going. Don't do it.
We are going to have the conversation.
Give it about 2 weeks. Let's
let this run out of respect.
Exactly. Out of respect. Yeah.
We're gonna let this Langston run continue on, and we will see where they finish up at. But once that run comes to an end, with the ship or without a ship, we're gonna have to have the conversation. Edwin, we're not going to put that comment on the screen, Edwin. We're gonna let that one stay in the chat.
Oh, I put it up there. See how I put it up there. My bad. I didn't know he had done that. But yes, hashtag if you know, you know, right? If you know, you know. Then we'll just leave it at that. Let's see. The Monday opponent is Ave Maria from right out of the Sun Conference.
Yes.
So that is the opponent for tomorrow. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe, is the tip.
Yes.
And again, Urban Edge Network is where you can find that.
If you can stomach it.
Oh, wow. You wild if you can stomach it.
Brian,
Okay,
I have not.
I'll leave it
We've
there.
been doing this for 9 years, and I have not lied to these people yet.
I'll leave it there. Who is this calling me from Dallas, Texas? Anyway, hey, I'm doing a show right now, Dallas, Texas. Whoever you are. Okay. Well, that's how the week ended. But now we got to go all the way back to how the week started. And on Monday, we had Winston-Salem State women.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I hate to do it. I know our guy just joined the
Steve,
chat. The Winston-Salem State Lady Rams in the
before,
regional final game were, I don't know what, Drew, 30 seconds away, less than a minute.
It was either 18 seconds or 16 seconds when the inevitable happened.
Up 4
with 18 seconds.
With 18 seconds to go. And just
and lose by 1.
Could not cleanly execute a pair of inbound plays. The latter inbound play ended up leading to a 3-point basket for IUP, Indiana University, Pennsylvania. After a very, and if you've seen the video, WSSU Ram Nation, you can find it, or HBCU Game Day, a very controversial
no call,
right? I mean, where the young lady from Winston-Salem State basically got cross-checked into the, I hate to call it that, got cross-checked into the table, and they said the ball was off of her, obviously, and it was going the other way.
But Brian,
it was like, wow.
And everyone knows I am the biggest #1 apologist for officials, having been a former official on the collegiate level.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is when that film would have been sent to my conference supervisor, there would have been a conversation. What did I see? What didn't I see? And why did I decide to not put a whistle on it?
Mm-hmm.
Those were the type of conversations that would have been had. But Brian, that was not the only one. That was that last 2 minutes. That both ways were questionable. And the one that got me though, Brian, was when Indiana University, Pennsylvania was out of timeouts. This is where you forgot to get into, Brian, before the 3-point play.
Mm-hmm.
They were out of timeouts.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, there was a needless review that gave Indiana University, Pennsylvania a free timeout.
Was it based on what? An inbound play, whether it was or wasn't?
It was something I think it was say time. I want to say it was time for that one. But there were there were 2 replays that I did not think that they needed to go to. There was one that I thought they should have went to replay, and they didn't. So if you go back and watch the last 2 minutes, there was. I want to know what conference those officials were out of, because you can't say it was home cooking. Usually during the region, there is supposed to be a neutral. Maybe the crew has never worked together before, so they aren't familiar with each other. Each conference has a little bit of different points of emphasis on how they call things, but it was painful to watch. And yes, I did do a welfare check on Steve after that game, and he was still alive. He was kicking. He was pissed, but he was alive after the game. And we have seen articles, therefore, that have come out of it.
Well,
So,
you
and he
know,
has it, and as a Winston Salem alum, he has every right to be pissed. As an HBCU fan, I am extremely upset.
mm. Well, hey, we have seen, put it like this, playing 5 versus 8 on the road. I hate to say it that way, but we've all kind of had that speech sometimes as a coach and you got to overcome, and you can't give your opponent the opportunity.
Can't leave it be close.
Can't let it be close. And unfortunately, Langston controlled that game, dominated that game, and they let IUP get back in that game. And down the stretch, needed to make one more play. I think there was even a missed free throw or two by Winston-Salem State, if I recall. And you make a free throw or two, you take the opportunity. The opportunity is less, and maybe that 3-pointer ties the game up instead of you losing by one. Hindsight is 20/20, and I know for Coach Terry and for those ladies, I know that was a gut punch. That was a tough one to watch, but I salute the Rams on a great season. And since we're not going to have that conversation with the last coach that we were just talking, we're not going to do that conversation about
We're not
Coach
going to do the
Terry
conversations at
today.
all this week.
Right. No conversations this week about coaches. All right. This is all about the teams and the games. We'll talk about the coaches and other stuff next week or the week after. All right. Promise.
Yeah.
Promise. So
There
don't you guys go putting it in the chat room either.
Now, Brian, I need some help from you, because I don't know which game that I was watching when there was a held ball down the stretch that should have been called a foul. I can't remember which. I watched so much basketball this week, it was ridiculous. And it wound up costing the team a game.
A held ball
Was that Union game? It might have been a white game. I don't know. Brian, see, I finally been able to catch up on basketball, Brian.
Hold on. We talked during. You weren't. That you just mentioned something. I don't know what game you mentioned. Union, and I realized that their late collapse occurred last Sunday.
That might have been the game. I'm thinking about.
I can't even recall. I know they too missed free throws. The free throw bug caught them. It made a couple free throws. You might have walked out of that gym with a victory in round 2, but I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of basketball that's been watched of late. So that was the Monday, and it rolls us into the first 4 contests for the men's tournament, which began on Monday, the first 4. Okay.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Thank you. Tuesday. Okay. Before we even start talking about Howard and Prairie View, you can choose to opt out, and I won't even mention it. Do we want to have the beat the dead horse conversation regarding the first 4s? Yes or no?
If we have that conversation, Brian, we got to bring this portion of it up.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did too. But hold on, let's pull that back for a second because that is we have to get through the week and talk about that. Because yes, that is important. So I already see Edwin saying no. He doesn't want to doesn't want us to have a conversation. We'll let the chat decide. Conversation or no conversation. Do you want us to talk about HBCUs and the first four? I mean, because we could easily move past this. You guys know where this conversation is going to go because you guys are, a lot of you on Twitter. You're on social media. You know what the echo chamber says. So I don't know. Let's see. First five, yes or no. We'll look in the chat room. First five, yeses or nos. Do you want us to talk about it? And a lot of people checking in. Doc Israel Carey checking in. Walter Harley checking. We got one vote no right now for Edwin. Drew, while we're waiting on them, what do you want to do? Yes or no on this?
I'm always up for it.
All right, Edwin. Wait a minute. Edwin says yes. Israel says yes. M. Ford says yes. Walter Harley said no. Move on. Let me see. Get the money. Emmett Jones says yes. Emmett, I feel like you voted like 2 or 3 times already. I don't know. So far, I'm counting like 3-2. Yes, talk about it.
Let's roll with it, baby.
All right. So the overall, and look, at some point we have to frame this question in the right way. And I want to let me see if I can find a tweet from Coach Robert Jones. Because I thought Coach Jones made a really good tweet. Of course, of Norfolk State, who has the last time, by the way, that 2 HBCUs won first 4 games was 2021. That was Norfolk State and Texas Southern. And shout out to Liv for correcting somebody who had said,
"Don't get it right."
Oh yeah, Liv will check you up.
Livopedia.
I like that. Livopedia. There you go. Let me see. All kinds of things going on here about the question as to whether.
Here you go, Brian.
First 4, but not the second game.
Not for PV, at least. Howard, yes. PV, Southern, and Tennessee State just caught it off the rip.
Okay. Jones says, and I'm trying to find the exact tweet or the post. He believes that the first 4. Now, this is a quote coming from College Insider. And I think this may have been pulling his comments from a previous year when Norfolk State was in the tournament. Jones believes the first 4 has been a great addition to the NCAA tournament. And I know Jones was also talking about schools opting out of postseason opportunities. I thought I saw him in here with a good tweet. Let me see. All right, this he brings up something here. I can't believe HBCUs didn't take advantage of Dr. Wes Bellamy's BCIC Invitational, guaranteed money to help your NIL funds as we all need it. Postseason play and expenses covered. That's a win-win with no CBI, NIT, or CIT. Think forward. All right, but that
had to be from last year.
Yeah, huh?
It had to be from last year.
No, that was from 2 days ago when he posted that.
Oh, okay.
But I will say this. Okay, so I think the biggest debate in question is 2 things can be true here, Drew. And I say this because we know why they created this first 4.
Do we? Remind everybody.
They created this to put more Power 4, Power 5 basketball programs in the NCAA tournament,
And why
so
did they
that
do that?
they could keep more of the money,
More units,
more
to the
units
conference.
to the conference, because every game played is a unit for the conference. Every game won is a unit for the conference. Am I saying that correctly?
No, not the way you said it.
Okay, correct me.
Every game played is a unit.
Okay.
Because you win, you get to you move on to the next round, which becomes an additional unit.
Okay, so it's
the
games
unit
played.
does not change win or lose.
Okay, it's games played.
The thing is, the more rounds you win, the more units.
Right.
Even when you get to the national championship game,
right,
both teams get the same amount of money.
Right. Okay. So in a more realistic world, it would seem to make sense that all these last 14, like when we watch Joey Brackets and all these other guys do these bracket analysis shows, and they say who are the last 4 bubble teams, the last 4 in, last 4 out, next 4 out. Those are the guys that you would think should be playing in the play-in tournament, right? Not an automatic bid team, which is the dig. They always put 4 automatic bid teams, one bid conferences, usually the 4 lowest rated conference that get put into these 16 seed spots, right? And the only way you avoid being a first 4 team is if you have an outstanding regular season record, meaning you would have had to have beaten some teams in the non-conference. And we all know that at our level, where HBCUs are, they're most likely playing at least 70% of their schedule against Power 5 teams. Non-conference, right? So if you can beat a couple of them, and then part B of that, have such an outstanding conference record, like do something that Alabama A&M women did this year, which is go 17-1 and then win the conference.
And you still have to win your conference tournament.
Yes, and you still have to win your conference, or do what Howard's women did. Howard's women had an outstanding season, or Jackson State
Norfolk last year.
Norfolk last year, great example. That is the only way the one bid lower seeded conferences, i.e. MEAC and SWAC right now, that is the only way they get out of the 16 play-in games. Okay? They're going to end up, 16 seeded, unless you end up, and you may end up as a 14 seed, maybe a 15 seed, something to that nature. And it's even more disadvantageous to you on the women's side, because you end up as a 14 seed having to go play a 3 seed in their own backyard. So, which would you rather do, Drew? Be a 16 seed on a neutral site where you win and go play a 1 seed, or go be a 14 seed and then play, I don't know, Ohio State, Jackson State, somebody like that, or not Jackson State, LSU, on their home court in the women's tournament. I don't know. Which one would you rather do? But
yeah, can I vote for neither?
Yeah, there you go. That's the right answer.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, Brian, and I've got to go off on a tangent before I get back to your original question. All this talk about expansion. Why are they talking about doing this expansion, Brian? To get more, so that the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC could get more teams into the dance.
Yep. More units.
Pay attention. This is what's going to happen. My prediction. No inside information, just pure speculation. We've got pretty much everybody who's a 12 and below comes from a 1 bid league, right?
Yes. Typically, yes. 12 bid leagues. 12 seed and lower. 12 to 16 seed.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's your 12 seeds, your 13 seed, your 14 seed, your 15 seed, and your 16 seed. All
5
right.
seeds
So
times 4,
let's do this.
22.
Let's say our 13 seeds and below. That's how many teams, Brian?
13, 14, 15, 16. That's 4
16.
times 4. That's 16 teams.
You know why that's a perfect number?
No.
Watch. They're going to expand this thing to 80 teams. Why are they going to expand this to 80 teams? Because now you created those first 4 scenarios all the way through. So all those teams will play to get to the 64.
Wow.
So
that's 16. That's 16 teams playing 8 games.
Yes.
So that's eight spots that they have reduced. So essentially, those teams become 15s and 16s. Damn, Drew. That's yeah.
All those 1-bid leagues will go into a first 4 type of scenario.
And all be 15 or 16 seeds.
Bookmark this.
Yes.
March
that's a great
22nd, 2026, 6:50 Eastern Time, PM. Bookmark this. So those become your 15, your 16 seeds. We just opened up those 13 and 14 seeds for the big boys.
Yep. That's exactly.
And you know how you sell it to those smaller conferences?
Mm-hmm.
Because now you got an opportunity to get a unit.
A unit, yeah.
And to get a win. You got an opportunity to get a unit and a win before you go get your ass kicked against one of the top 8 teams in the nation.
Hey, and Drew, what's crazy is they can still do it in the 2-day window.
Exactly. And
two different sites. 2 different sites. You could have 2 games in Dayton and 2 games somewhere else and utilize your broadcast partners the same way that you've been using them.
Edwin, like Brian said, we could do it. Doubt if they jump it to 80. Edwin, they already at 68. They're only jumping to 12 teams.
Mm-hmm. They've been talking about 72 and 76 for a minute.
Yeah. Now they may step it up to 80. They may stop somewhere in the middle, but they're gonna wind at 8. They're gonna wind up at 80.
Yeah.
There go 72, 76, then 80 or something like that. But see, you also have to keep in mind, you have to keep it in a multiple of 4.
Yep.
Those 11s playing in Dayton go away in my model.
Yep, they do. It makes perfect sense because and then the genius about what you just said is breaking it down where those play-in games become your 15 and 16 seeds. Now, everybody who wins will either be a 15 or 16 seed playing a 1 or a 2 seed on Thursday or Friday. And if you're one of those 4 games on Tuesday, you play somebody on Thursday. If you're one of those 4 games on Wednesday, you're playing on Friday. Nothing about the schedule has to change at all.
I'm just taking one step further. I think you might kiss Dayton goodbye. Here's the thing. You're already in 4 regions. What does 16 allow you to do? 4 pods of 4. You can play at one of your already regional sites. Your St. Louis's, your Los Angeles, wherever your region is already going to be at. Or you select a Dayton type site in every region of the nation.
For travel purposes, that would
you have Dayton. You may have a Birmingham for the South. You may have a Albuquerque or Phoenix in the Southwest, and you find somewhere in the Northeast, you find a city in the Northeast, Brian. So you pick your 4, you get 4 cities with 4 different quadrants that become your Dayton.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
point.
just speculating now.
No, I love the idea. 4 cities playing 2 games. So that way you increase the value of the ticket that people are going to pay. You're going to pay money to go see 2 games.
Yes.
Genius. Look at Drew, man. Drew, drop that nugget, man. Good stuff, Drew. All right. Well, so that lead into the conversation about why. Now, the point of where we currently are is, this. Put the graphic up there that talks about the wins by HBCUs over the last several years. Okay,
This is the SWAC. I don't have a graphic for the MEAC, but there's
right.
the SWAC.
So over since 2021, the SWAC has won and had success in the first 4 for 5 of the last 6 years. 5 of the last 6 years. That is units coming into the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So that's 2 units. And now when you show the other graphic, it kind of adds a little more context. And look to the far left for Prairie View this year, earning 2 units, which earns about $4 million. So what you're talking about is over the past 6 years, 4 times 6, that's $24 million.
But the number's gone up. It hasn't been quite 2 million. It's just 2 million this year.
Okay, so
2 million this year.
It's minimum. Would you say minimum a 1 mil?
Oh yeah, it's been over 1.
Okay,
so
roughly
15, minimum 15 million probably.
Okay, minimum 15 up to 20. That's coming into the conference. Now, of course, it's paid out over 6 years.
Yes.
But so just the financial impact, and this is why I think what you're seeing here. How is the SWAC able to do SWAC TV? How are they able to have you're starting to see the financial benefits of what the SWAC has been able to. I'm speculating here, but I feel like the financial ripple effect of the conference having more money, and then of course, the money gets paid out to the institutions. It's a trickle down effect. It's working out for everybody. Now, for the MEAC, you've got Howard this year. Obviously, you had Norfolk State back in 21. I don't know where. Is there anybody else been between Howard and Norfolk State?
Howard and Norfolk are the only 2.
Because Howard did have a year. Howard went in 22. Howard. Nope, I'm sorry. This was the first year Howard won. I should have recognized that. So really, the Norfolk State in 21, Howard picking up 2 units this year. So it's been a little less of a run than what the SWAC schools have been on.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. That plus the Celebration Bowl.
Right. This at Blue Jacket. Let's go back to Blue Jacket's question.
What does the SWAC do with the money?
This is one reason, Blue Jacket, that member institutions in the Southwestern Athletic Conference do not have to pay conference dues. And those of y'all who are unfamiliar with conference dues, this is the money that, as a member of the conference, that you are supposed to pay for things such as championships and administration at the conference office. Not only do the SWAC member institutions not have to pay conference dues, but i.e. they get a rebate at the end of each academic season. That means the SWAC has paid all the bills, all the championships, covered all their expenses, administrative, salary, everything else, and has money left over. Once they put whatever they are required to keep in reserve for emergency situations, all that rest of the money is distributed back to the member institutions. How that money is distributed back to the member institutions is up to each conference, but it's usually based on something like championships and things like that, commissioners cup finishes, all those type things, and there's a formula that they use to determine how much money you get back. So those teams that win, i.e., like Prairie View has done the double this far, winning football and winning basketball.
Mm-hmm.
When they get their check from 2026,
It's gonna be nice.
it's going to be significantly more than the Mississippi Valley on the men's side.
And there's a great point. That I know somebody had asked the question about a certain SWAC school that operates like a D2. Well, the reason why Valley is still D1 is because they're part of the SWAC, and the SWAC continues to make money.
Yes.
That is how.
Yes.
Now, the one thing about this graphic, and I know that needs to be noted in here, is that the Ohio Valley Conference, that Tennessee State is not an HBCU conference. So while we appreciate HBCU legends for the graphic and the enthusiasm, it is not 100% accurate because it's not technically $10 million going to HBCU conferences. It's more like $8 million going to HBCU conferences. And then you got to figure out what the OVC's distribution is that goes to Tennessee State.
It's only 8 teams in there right now, if I do my math correctly.
Right.
So, their payout should be somewhere around what the BX payout is.
Yeah.
For their team.
Yeah. All right. So again, got to mention earlier in the week the historic win by Howard, 86-83 over UMBC, Maryland, Baltimore County. So big time. I was sitting there, the young man number 11 there. I can't think of his name, but he had the game high. He was just unconscious. I mean, he just couldn't miss. I mean, wherever he was shooting from, he talked about having a career day. That he did. And this interesting graphic, this one kicked me when I saw this. I came across this on Howard's site. Of course, this was Howard making the tournament for the 3rd time in the last 4 years under head coach Kenny Blakeney. Among the 21 one-bid leagues, that's a total of 222 teams. There are only 5 schools which have made the tournament in 3 of the last 4 years, Howard being one of them. That's 5 schools of 222. That's the stat of the day when I saw that on the Howard handle, on the Howard men's handle, man.
You know what I love about that, Brian? That stat is something that a nerd like me will pull out. That's why I love that, bro. Because I'm the only one who would, I would think of something like that and actually go and do the research.
Yeah, and that's why I pulled it up.
Pass it on to my my graphics people and tell them to do something with this.
Yeah. I love the fact they went 32 years without an appearance prior to Blakeney coming to Howard. And Howard and Norfolk State have dominated that thing
since contraction.
And I'll tell you what, since contraction. And I will say this, I love the fact that Howard was ready to promote this event and really engage with their alumni base, because they were doing promotions trying to get alumni to engage excuse me, in I guess they called it a 3 for 4 or 3 and 4 promotional deal where, hey, let's donate to, Howard. I don't recall right offhand. I can go look at the Howard Twitter feed if it was the NIL or was it their athletic department or the basketball program, but it was just well timed and coordinated, Drew, which I have seen some schools not be prepared. I very well know some schools who haven't been prepared to capitalize on these opportunities. So yeah. What is this from EA? EA says just joining the payout from the NCAA is over 4 to 5 years to the team in escalating fashion. Again, the payout to the individual team may be about 60%. The Celebration Bowl payout to the SWAC participant was $778,000. I mean, what's the point, EA? I mean, are you? Hey,
I think he's just throwing some numbers out on what.
Oh, he's just throwing numbers. Okay. I mean, put it like that. Hey, that's money that you didn't have a week ago.
That's money you didn't. Let's back it up. That's money you did not have in your budget whenever your budget was due.
That part. You didn't budget that because you didn't know it was coming.
Right. Now that locker room renovation, that those new chairs for the basketball facility, some of those other things, that extra set of uniforms, those are the type things that you can do when you receive these type of payouts that are unbudgeted.
Right.
Or NIL.
Yeah. And I think one of the I found it. It was called
thank you. Thank you, Emmett.
What'd he say?
That's a very valid point.
How's that?
Well, you got to think about the SIAC champion. Morehouse played Howard to basically a 2-possession ball game back in January, who wound up being the MEAC champion.
Okay.
So,
all right. And you beat them the year they didn't go to the tournament.
Yes, the year neither one of us went to the tournament.
All right. It was called 3 for 4 campaign. The Howard Bison said we've raised over $10,000 in our 3 for 4 campaign. So that was over $10,000. And so, I don't know, it's pretty good. I'm not going to poo-poo anybody raising money and making money, even if you're able to turn that money exactly.
That's a good one.
Any one of those things are possible. Paying for summer school for the student athletes. Again, I don't know what Howard's NIL revenue sharing model is, whatever. But it is what it is. Now, speaking of NIL and revenue sharing, I'll tell you another school that didn't have one. These guys right here, Prairie View just on God. And if you listen to Coach, Byron Smith, God.
Wait, hold on, no, I gotta take these off because you need to read this, so I gotta change.
This up. So this is following Prairie View's 67-55 win over Lehigh. Again, another school. Again, Howard, that was their first ever win. Prairie View, the SWAC champions. Coming into the contest, Joey Brackets, this is from ESPN, has said that Prairie View has never won a game in the NCAA tournament, and that is not going to change this year. The Panthers finished 8th in a weak SWAC and played the 348th worst schedule in the country. They aren't tested, and they aren't particularly great on either end of the floor, even for a first 4 encounter with Lehigh. Good for you, Prairie View. That came from Prairie View's men's basketball Twitter account. Good for you for throwing that back out there to Joey Brackets to say, you know what, not what the hell you talk about, sir. Good for you, Prairie View. What a year for Prairie View. 67-55 over Lehigh. And I'll say this. I think another underrated thing, Drew, that the first 4 game does is the amount attention and love that you get in that 24 to 36 hours
with the W.
Because you get all of these great sound bites from the post-game and pre-game press conferences. I mean, some of the most insightful thoughts and comments were shared by Coach Blakeney, some of the Howard players, by Coach Smith, I mean, just the Prairie View. I mean, just it really, there's stories that we don't get a chance to amplify as much because there's so many schools and so many players and so many stories. But in this one shining moment, I hate to use that for lack of a better, the value is, there you go, Steve. The value is those coaches and those players get an opportunity to really showcase why an HBCU, why a Prairie View, why Howard. And so when a kid is making that decision of transferring from wherever to Howard or transferring to Prairie View, this is why.
Can I? Obviously, we know what I do for a living. Based athletic marketing. Bryan, for 2 to 3 days, from the moment that bracket comes out Sunday until whether you play on Tuesday or Wednesday in that first 4 games, you're one of only 4 games that everybody's talking about.
Yep.
Our little bitty old HBCU institutions for this particular week, it was Howard and it was Prairie View A&M.
Mm-hmm.
While most of the lay people in America, and when I say lay people, the people without hue, have probably heard of Howard or are familiar with Howard, and that it's an HBCU. I'm here to tell you, if they are not of a little bit of culture, they have no clue what Prairie View A&M is. They think Texas A&M is the only A&M in that state, let alone know where Prairie View A&M is located or what city is closest to.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and this is one thing that I love, Ryan, with what I have to do. When I have non-HBCU media covering my team or my event, and I have to get these notes together, I have to get these notes together at a higher level. And what do I mean by that, Bryan? If you're covering, we're just going to use Morehouse Athletics. If you're covering Morehouse Athletics, there are certain things that I do not have to tell you about Morehouse's history and things like that, because there's an inherent sense of knowledge that somebody like you have. Correct?
Yep.
When I deal with Jay and Tiffany, there's certain things I do not have to get to them because there's a certain level of HBCU knowledge that they have. When I have people from the 4-letter networks that I have to prepare stuff for who don't have that history,
mm-hmm.
and have to dig deeper and making sure that I tell the HBCU story and then the story of my institution and how relevant that is, not only in the HBCU culture, but in the national culture. It's a chance for me to educate.
Yep.
It's a chance for us, people in my position, to educate these people. And the more I educate them, the more they educate the viewer,
yep.
who is not familiar with our stories. I had to do it when we had Charles Ward and Dwayne Walker calling the SIAC. All I had to do was jot down a couple notes, give it to them some facts and some stats. They knew what to do with it. They knew it, and sometimes they would come to me and ask me questions that they wanted because they wanted to get a certain point out.
Right.
on that championship day, I had to do so many notes to make sure that those people who were calling the championship game
Yeah.
understood what was happening, understood the significance. Yes, they butchered one thing. We're not gonna get into that discussion, but but in fact, to do that, to be able to get that out, and and for them to get these stories. And Brian, here's the other thing: how often is the game featuring HBCU one of the lead stories on something like a Sports Center?
How
Only
what
during
now?
the first four,
Oh
Brian.
yeah.
Only
Right.
during the first four.
Yeah, only during the first 4. You're right.
So, one of the top 2-3 stories on the first four. We might even get into the top 10 if
Yep.
there's a spectacular play. So, let's take advantage of these opportunities, Brian. Yeah, you're right. They're not doing any research on the programs. They're relying on us, Kelvin, to do that research for them.
What do you make of the comments? And I thought I'm reading the article here by Stephen J. Gaither on HBCU Game Day, the NIL difference between Florida and HBCU opponent as staggering as the score. And I also caught a bit of the conversation that Coach Byron Smith had with Donald Ware on Box to Row, where he once again made it clear where he says, quote, "I want to be clear, we're not paying one player on our team." The fact that they have no NIL, no revenue sharing, not even, I know, well, I don't know about I don't know about Prairie View, other than some people that go to Prairie View or that alumni at Prairie View. But I know Prairie View has a NIL. So,
but it's not school sponsored NIL.
Well,
it's from alumni
right
in other places.
But what? Well,
just
okay,
like Fang Exchange.
But is everybody that's talking about NIL numbers at various schools? Because as we watch these budgeted numbers of these athletic, Kentucky lost today, and they have an NIL budget of 22. Is that school sponsored, or is that NIL coming from third-party places? I don't know. But it's shocking to hear. But once again, in comparison to, obviously Florida's NIL is way bigger. I think it's in the 10 million range. What do you make of the comments? Put it like this. Let me ask this question. Does the comment drive more Prairie View? Should it drive, let me put it this way. Should it drive more Prairie View alums to want to help out the basketball program more? Or is it kind of in one ear, out the other? And I know we got at least maybe 1 or 2 PV folks in the chats, but what do you think that those comments, what purpose do they serve, Drew, when you hear those comments?
Brian, I tell you about those comments after we take this break.
Okay. Well said. All right. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and the like button, however you're watching us. If you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, hang tight with us. If you're watching us on Instagram Live or on Twitter, X, as they call it. We'll be back right after these words. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Be back in a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Bryan and A.D. here. I just saw your text here, Drew. Before we went to the break, I asked Drew regarding the comments from Coach Byron Smith regarding his team's lack of any NIL funding. Compared to, of course, the University of Florida, that's a $10 million NIL budget. Hey, within their own conference, I mean, it had been reported that the number one team, the regular season champs, the Wildcats, had an NIL budget of over $750,000 budget, which was supposedly one of the tops in the conference. So I asked Drew, should the comments from Smith, which got a little bit of traction even after Stevens, the HBCU Game Day story, the conversation with Donald Ware on Box to Row, should it inspire PV alums to want to give more and set that program up with a brighter future? I mean, you got a coach who's been there 11 years. I didn't know Smith had been there 11 years, Drew.
Wow.
Right.
But
he's the senior men's basketball coach in the conference.
right. And him, Moulton, Jones, those are probably the senior three out of all HBCU. I don't know who's been at their particular institution the longest, but once you get past those three, you're
probably right. Those are the three senior
all
guys.
All levels on the men's side.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but Bryan, should it? Of course it should. But you asked the question the wrong way. Will it should have been what you should have asked me, not should it. And I think Kelvin brings up the thing that we need to consider. HBCUs have higher priority needs in athletics than NIL. We need to fund full staff, ding, nutrition, ding, training tables, ding, strength and conditioning programs, ding, equipment, ding. This will help our coaches out more. Kelvin, I am thoroughly surprised at you, given your background, that you did not bring up one more ding that should be on there. facilities.
Mm.
You know, and what I mean by that is a lot of these basketball, football, well, not football, but basketball facilities and other facilities, training facilities at the UFs, the Texases, the Georgias. A lot of those are donor finance, Brian.
Oh yeah, probably.
You know, slap my name on the building. I'll write you a check. Slap my granddaddy's name on the building. We'll write you a check.
Yeah.
So Kelvin is 100% right on this. We do have higher priority needs, Brian.
That's a good point.
I got one more. I'm not mad at him for leaving this one off. Can we get to full scholarships at some of our non-revs? We'd be dangerous if baseball had their full amount of scholarships. We'd be dangerous if softball, volleyball, and some of these other sports had their full allotment.
All right. So
we're having success out here, Brian, in our conferences with 2 and 3 and 4 scholarships.
But you know who always has this conversation? Good folks like Kelvin, other well-intentioned alumni. But you know who's not saying this? Coaches. You know who's not saying that publicly? Athletic directors. Now, maybe behind the scenes they're saying it.
Can I shine the light on something, Ryan?
Sure.
Coach is not saying it because they trying to get some damn players. They saying it behind the scenes, but because Coach know when it's all said and done, it's about W's and L's. And the fact that I don't have a trainer, I have no training table, I have no nutrition program, nobody gives a rat's you know what about it. Coach, you lost last night. You lost last week.
But wouldn't there be a greater service if Byron Smith, when you have the platform, instead of saying, well, in addition to saying we don't have an NIL budget, but I tell you what, we do have this, that, and the other, but we still have so many more needs that it's a tough balancing act for our university. Right? I mean, they're you know, maybe I'm seeing it through, you know, a particular tunnel lens.
You are.
I know.
You are.
That's the counter. And then the counter to that is what I saw EA put in the chat, where, you know, Bethune-Cookman spends that money and doesn't win. And so, you know, hey, Coach, you won without it.
They won the regular season. So did they win, Brian?
Yeah, okay. Well, they won the regular season.
They won the regular season.
They
won.
They didn't even take a bid to anywhere. They went nowhere. No W, no.
They didn't take one because they didn't get one, Brian.
Okay, they didn't get one.
That's two different stories.
Okay,
but they won, Brian. So who did you say that was EA who said that?
I thought I saw EA say something about.
But whoever said that, incorrect. They won the regular season title, Brian. And did we devalue the regular season championship over the tournament championship, Brian? Preview got hot at the right time of the year. They got hot for 3 days. Continued on for one extra day in the first 4. But let's be real, Brian. Preview came in with a 9-9 record in the regular season, in the SWAC. And Coach Byron Smith's job was reportedly on the line.
Right.
So I don't think Reggie Theus, even though the athletic director won't fire the head coach in this situation, but I don't think his job is on the line.
No.
Not with what he was able to do with that money.
Yeah. Let's also shine a light and give some love to the Southern University women who defeated, of course, went to the NCAA tournament for the second consecutive year. And if I'm not mistaken, Drew, for the second consecutive year, won a first 4 game. Am I correct in that? Didn't Southern win a first 4 last year?
You don't give me the line to you, Brian.
Don't get you the line. Okay, well,
line to you.
I believe they did. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but Southern defeated Samford 65-53. Now, of course, their first 4. Now, remember you talked about your model of the first 4s being at the next site that you're going to play. Yeah. Well, their first 4 game was on site. Thank you. I thought it was back-to-back years. Congratulations to Southern. All right. So for their next 4 game was at South Carolina. Okay. The only women's SWAC, thank you, Steve. The only SWAC women's basketball team in NCAA tournament history to do it not once, twice, 2 years back to back.
And Dawn Staley rolled out the red carpet while she was whooping that ass.
Hey, look. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble here. I like getting in trouble on my own show, but boy, savage diabolical move by Dawn Staley, right? Apparently, somebody had noted. So all you see is the video of the Southern women after the game, the Southern girls getting some samples of some Louis smell goods. So it comes out that Dawn Staley, one of the girls, I guess, from Southern, had noted how good she smelled. And she's like, Coach, you smell really good. What is that? And she said, oh, that's my Louis or whatever, some fragrance. So Dawn, I guess, went to her bag of samples, and she had just enough samples for everybody. So she gave them the samples she had, right? So that, and then proceeded the next day
to whoop that,
to beat them by 69 points.
That's what you call doing a 69 to him, Brian.
69 points, which I think was the largest margin. I mean, we're not even going to talk about the Prairie View loss to Howard, which was the second largest. But I think Southern's loss was the largest margin of victory in the tournament. So I just, hey, look, Southern, they made it. They got another unit. They won another game, and they left South Carolina smelling good. That's all I can really say about the experience. Southern women,
some had to smell good because the play against South Carolina sure did stink, Brian.
And I would hope that maybe Louis
2 points in the quarter, Brian.
Hey, I posted this. Louis, there was like 2 points. Yeah, 2 points in a quarter. Which quarter was that? The third quarter or something? I think so. Coming out of halftime, 2 points. Jesus. Maybe Louis will drop an NIL opportunity or something on Southern. That would be pretty dope if Louis decided to drop some kind of NIL opportunity on Southern women's basketball program. That would be really dope. Otherwise, there's just some nice samples for some smell goods that you may not be able to buy as a college student. I'm just saying.
I got to ask this question, Brian, and Office get in trouble too. You Dawn Staley, why would you be walking around with that many samples of Louis instead of just buying the bottle?
No, it's in her office. Apparently, like her rep, I guess she has a Louis rep. That's how she rolls. I guess somehow she had a bunch of samples in her office. That's what she said. I think I read the post-game press conference. 69 points is different than 40 and 50 points, Edwin. I'm sorry. I had to mention it. I know. I mean, with all due respect, respectfully. I mean, come on. That's a lot of points. Edwin. I mean, come on. You can't shy away from that. And you got baited into some smell good samples. I'm just saying. Come on now.
Here's the thing, Brian.
You could have took that beating without the samples, and I would have left it alone.
And this was the stat nerd in me. How many times did they not even score 69 points in the game? Let alone to beat somebody by 69, Brian.
Look, all I know is I'm gonna give a shout out to Howard. The scoring beating smelled awful. Yes, the scoring beating did. But again, you walked out of that building after you took your shower and you put on that Louis Smell Good. And you smell good walking out of South Carolina.
I bet you that plane was smelling good flying home.
That bus smelled good as hell on that bus trip back to the airport. But anyway, I will give a shout out to while we're mentioning that, right? Howard's women, who was a 14 seed going to Ohio State, right? Now, I paid attention to this, Drew. They were a 32.5-point underdog at Ohio State. And at one point, Ohio State was up 30 on them, Drew. I got nervous because I was backing how I said, there's no way in hell the best HBCU basketball team, which was Howard. That's what y'all been saying all year. Or maybe y'all were saying it was Alabama A&M, but if you listen to Liv and some other folks, they were saying it was Howard. There was no way in hell I thought Howard would lose by more than 30. So I jumped on the 32.5, Drew. And trust me, I sweated that damn thing out all the way until maybe the last 5 minutes of the game. And proud of Howard women in their fight, they only lost by 21 points. They lost by 21 points. But I was proud of Howard's fight. But I stayed away from that South Carolina Southern game. I don't even know what it was pregame, but I knew once they had given them samples, the only play was putting the money on South Carolina because they had been distracted. They had been distracted with the smell goods. I'm messing. I'm sorry. That's low blow. Yeah. All right. But anyway, I just want to give a shout out to Howard women. Howard women. I think I wrote this down. 75-54 was the final score. And they were down 43-19 at halftime. That was the number, Drew. They were down 43-19 at halftime. So anyway. Okay, so and also in the NCAA tournament, we got to make mention Tennessee State. They were the 15 seed taking on Iowa State. Oh, you got to be kidding me. This St. John's, Kansas game is tied up with 11.3 seconds. How the F? Oh, my God. This is ridiculous. Oh, man. You talk about I wasn't even paying attention to this game, Drew, and I'm sitting there like, how did St. John's let Kansas? They were up by 8-10 with about 3 minutes to go. Oh, God. March Madness. Oh. Okay, Emmett, are you giving – okay, so you're ahead of me, Emmett. You're giving me a final score, 67-65. Did somebody hit a buzzer beater? Because right now it's 65-65 when I'm watching. And Kansas has fouls to give. I guess that's what they're doing here. That's all right. That's all right. As long as – it doesn't help me with my 3.5 with St. John's, but I needed St. John's to win because I have St. John's to win the region and win there's a buzzer beater. There's the first buzzer beater of the tournament. St. John's. That's the first buzzer beater of the NCAA tournament. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow. Goodbye, Kansas. Oh, man. Okay, so, yeah. I was definitely behind. So, my bracket's still alive. St. John's, who's my Final Four team and my region winner. But, boy, I know Patino, they're going to go back and look and say, how are we up 8? Who did he drive on Peterson? Did he go to the bucket on Peterson? Oh, no, it wasn't Peterson, whoever 13 is. Well, he took him right to the basket. No help defense whatsoever. Damn. That's a tough way to lose, man. Getting beat on a one-on-one drive and he drove from about 40 feet away from the bucket. Woo, that's tough. That's a tough way to lose. Okay. Woo, what a play. What a play. All right. Okay. So
I stepped away, Brian. Who won?
That's all right. The first buzzer beater of the NCAA tournament, Drew. St. John's ended up winning 67-65.
Damn it.
The kid drove literally from 30 feet away from the bucket to the basket. One-on-one. Just took his man right to the rim.
Edwin, I don't care. You got me on that one. You may have I think Edwin just jumped me up with that game, Brian.
Did he? Let's go to the instant. I know I had
Kansas.
Oh yeah, you sorry for you. Sorry, not sorry. Let me see. I had under 144.5 that cashed. Oh man, messed up my parlay. I was riding clear. I had St. John's -3.5. And then all of a sudden they were up 10 at one point. Yeah, so all right, we'll take a look at the brackets here in a moment. But Tennessee State, I think right before I looked up and I saw where we were mentioning the last NCAA tournament team, Tennessee State. 108-74 was their loss in the round of 64 to Iowa State. Iowa State, a team who was going to the Sweet 16. So Tennessee State did well, obviously we're not going to have that. Again, Nolan Smith, who was hired in April, right? I mean, talk about late hire, but great first year for Nolan Smith. And I'm going to give a shout out to my guy, Troy, who mentioned the black head coaches off the Mike Krzyzewski tree. Obviously Kenny Blakeney, Nolan Smith, Johnny Dawkins. So he had 3 in the tournament. Johnny Dawkins has been at UCF for the past 10 years. Jeff Capel is at Pitt. And I think they just decided to give him another year. There's some other guys out there too. Who was it? This was a great little thread that Troy had posted. Fat Mouth Sports.
But John Shire, obviously.
Well, he was talking black coaches, head coaches.
Okay.
Yeah, black coaches. So.
Yeah,
but anyway,
the 4th, Brian.
What's that?
I dropped a 4.
Just like that. Oh, Tommy Amaker. Thank you, EA. Tommy Amaker was another one. He had some success when he was coaching at Howard, and he even parlayed that in Michigan. He was coaching at Michigan for a minute. But yeah, it's a nice little tree of black head coaches that have come off the Coach K. Hell, they might have had more success than some of the other guys. I'm just saying. I mean,
And Brian, I'm hoping the next one who's sitting on his bench is the next black coach that becomes successful off that tree.
Oh, talk to me. Who are you talking about?
Chris Carrawell.
Former player, was he?
Yeah. He was on the 99 team that lost in San Antonio, and then they won in 2000 with Elton Brand, Jay Will, Boozer, Trajan Langdon, and all the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
he's on the bench right now with Shire?
Yes, he's on the bench for Shire. He was on the bench for Coach K also when Coach K retired.
Hey, look, I mean, there's some really interesting jobs.
He was on. There was a top black coaches, and they listed them on all levels, and he was on the D1 list as hottest coaches.
Okay.
And just for full transparency, his father and my father are brothers, so that's why I bring that up.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, okay. Full transparency. I like that. Okay, way to bring that up.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay. Well, hey, I wish him well. I hope it happens for him.
Yeah.
Definitely given the success of some of these other guys, I would think he would. I think somebody, if he's putting his name out there, I would definitely consider.
Right down the road, Steve. You might be interested.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if the campaign for Chris Paul has kind of fallen apart,
Get another Chris.
There you go. Okay, I want to make mention that the fact that there were no Division I men's teams playing outside of the NCAA, but there are some women's there's some women's Division I teams that did get some invites to the 2 postseason tournaments.
Before we jump to the women, Brian, can we close out the men quickly?
Sure. What do we got? What are we missing?
I just want to the Howard loss in the round of 64 to Michigan. They lost 101-80. But if you did not watch that game, Brian, for about the first 30 minutes, Howard was in that ball game.
Oh, they were down 4 at the half.
They were down 4 at the half. Of the 3 men's teams that played in the first round, Howard definitely played the best.
Most competitive game.
Yes.
Yeah. Most competitive game.
So
I did not.
I don't want to overlook that.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I did not expect them to be as competitive with Michigan as they were.
Right. Now, just because we're contractually obligated to say it, Tennessee State lost 108-74 to Iowa State, and Prairie View lost 114-55 to the number 1 seeded Florida, the second largest margin in the history of the NCAA tournament at 59 points. Now we've gotten all that out the way. Now we can go on to the women, Brian.
Okay, so there are 2 tournaments, right? 2 postseason tournaments that the women have the opportunity to play in, and that's the WNIT and the WBIT. Now, I'm gonna pull out some research that I did, and I sent it. I know Carlos and the guys in the panel were talking about this yesterday. Okay, so the primary difference of the 2 divisions, the WBIT, Women's Basketball Invitation Tournament, is a function. It's a tournament that is owned and funded by the NCAA.
Which is interesting, and I'm gonna let you get back to it.
It's only been around for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
3 years.
It's almost like the NIT, which the NCAA now owns on the men's side, and you would think the WBIT would carry that same name, but it doesn't, and it leads to a lot of confusion with a lot of people.
Well, and here's why. Because the WNIT, the Women's National Invitation Tournament, is a privately owned event operated by Triple Crown Sports. Okay? Since the debut of the WBIT in 2024, the WBIT has replaced the WNIT as the quote-unquote second-tier postseason tournament, meaning it takes the best teams that did not qualify for the 68 NCAA tournament field. Okay, everybody understand? Everybody with me so far? Which means that is why Alabama A&M, who won the regular season in the SWAC, participated in the WBIT. Okay, it was I believe it's a 32-team field, and I believe it was the first postseason appearance for Alabama A&M on the Division I level. Maybe in general, I don't know, but at least at the Division I level.
And also, Brian, I believe the WBIT is set up like the NIT was previously, where if your team wins the regular season but does not win the postseason tournament, they will take the regular season champion as a part of their tournament, which is, I believe, how Alabama A&M was selected for this particular tournament.
Right. So Alabama A&M, again, it's a 32-team field, 4 regions, seeded 1 to 8. Alabama A&M was an 8 seed. They played number 1 seed BYU on Thursday, March 19th, in case anybody missed it, and I'll tell you why you missed it. And you tell me if I'm wrong for this. This was on Thursday, March 19th. In Provo, Utah, Alabama A&M lost 72-47. Now, did you hear about it anywhere, Drew?
Outside of the fact that we in the chat group with Mo Carter? I mean, we do have a little bit of a cheat sheet, but
we do. Outside of some tweets I saw by Live for Hoops, I don't recall coming across any social media. Okay, G-Boom, you did? Okay, great. I was checking. I didn't see any social media output about this game from Alabama A&M. Now, I know it might be spring break, so maybe social media team is on spring break. I don't know.
And there's a full-time staffer who's responsible.
I'm not gonna get. I don't get nobody in trouble. I'm just pointing out that I didn't see anything on any site about it. Maybe because they traveling to Utah.
And
you're asking about the spread. I don't even know what I don't even know where the box score is. EA? Oh, who's asking me? Who asked me about the spread? EA? I don't know what the box score was, let alone be able to tell you what the spread is. I mean, I can go. Let me see if I can go find it on ESPN. Yeah, Edwin. It's almost like. Well, let me not even say, but I'm just going to
stop it.
Ooh, see? Wow. Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna move off of that tournament. I just said what I said, and that's all I'm gonna say. Okay. I don't know what the box score was. Emmett, I will take a look and see if I can find it.
It's not on their website?
On what? On the ESPN site?
No, it should be on Alabama A&M's website by now.
They're not gonna hit a point spread. He's asking about the point spread.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the box
spread. About a damn point spread. I mean,
Did they even put a box score on it? But Brian, before we get to this, move off of this one, we can't even get out of being the last seed in a minor league tournament.
No.
Come on, man.
Right.
Well, in this case, it actually proved right, but still.
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull. What was it? Which tournament was it? The WBIT?
BIT.
Okay, let me see. It's too close. They got to change that name. If you know, you know. Okay, here it is. All right, just to give you some box score information, BYU was up 20-13 in the first quarter, and outscored them 19-10. Never was close. The only close quarter was maybe the fourth quarter.
Garbage time,
yeah. No point spread line on that game. Edwin, sorry, nothing from or EA. EA who was asking me about that. Yeah, so yeah, that was it. It was a 9:00 game. It was on ESPN Plus. 1,283 people.
What time zone was at 9:00?
Ooh, good point. I don't know. It just says 9 p.m. I would hope it was 9 p.m. Eastern. Let me see. Would it be on the box score?
That would be 7:00 Mountain Time, so that would be right.
Yeah, that would make sense, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah. There you go. A&M shots 30% from the field. They were 4 of 21 from the three-point line. They were out-rebounded 49-32. Turnovers weren't bad. It was 17-14 in turnovers. Points in the paint, 34-16. They did have a lead at one point, Drew. They had a 2-point lead for a minute.
2-0.
Maybe. Largest lead for BYU was 28. So, yeah, fast break points, 16-2. Yeah, BYU got some girls up there in the Provo, Utah. But yeah, so 22-11, season comes to an end for Alabama A&M.
I wonder if the women have the same restrictions that the men do at BYU. And if you know, you know.
Oh, well, yes, that's a campus-wide thing. You'd have to it would have to apply to the women. I mean, if it didn't apply to the women, then what are you doing? Let's move off of this before we both get in trouble here. All right. Over in the WNIT, the 48-team field of the WNIT, we got to start with Maryland Eastern Shore, the Hawks.
The only Division I still alive.
The only Division I still alive, as they got a historic victory. Not only their first postseason win, but their first win over a Power 4 program, as they defeated Wake Forest on Wake Forest's home turf, 59-48. And I watched that game, Drew. Maryland Eastern Shore, that was a damn good team going up against Wake Forest. They look really good. They look really good. So that was an impressive win. And I think I have it written here. Maryland Eastern Shore will play round 2 on Tuesday, March 24th in Youngstown, Ohio against Youngstown State. That's a 6:30 p.m. game. So interesting. They go from playing the 19th, which was Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then their next game is Tuesday. So they travel to Youngstown, Ohio, and take on Youngstown State. That's 6:30. Should be on ESPN Plus. Also participating in the WNIT. These games, I believe, were on Saturday. Alcorn State was hosting South Alabama. That game was on SWAC TV. You could have turned on SWAC TV and watched it. It was a pretty good broadcast. Unfortunately, the Lady Braves were not able to secure the home victory as an automatic qualifier, because Alcorn State and Maryland Eastern Shore were the two automatic qualifiers. Alcorn State got a chance to host this game. Had a good crowd. The band was in attendance. Unfortunately, they lost 73-65. Also competing.
Can we get an asterisk on why Alcorn State hosted that game?
Why?
Because South Alabama was having some renovations. Some project had started in their arena, and the arena was unavailable. So Alcorn State was able to take advantage of the opportunity to host that game. Okay,
thanks for adding some insight.
And just let's go back to Maryland Eastern Shore, just for full transparency. It's a 7-hour bus ride from Maryland Eastern Shore to Youngstown State's campus.
Okay. To answer your question, Edwin, that's my handle on Twitter. I thought you guys knew that, at DRB365. That's my Twitter handle. It's also my Instagram handle, but I have to keep my Instagram private because I teach and kids be stalking me and ridiculous parents be stalking me. So I had to move my IG to private. It's a long story, but anyway, Don't need that judgment. I do enough. I'm sarcastic enough on Twitter. So Twitter's just for fun, by the way. Just letting you know. Don't take it seriously. Twitter's just for fun and information, but even though that is kind of sketchy these days, but Twitter's just for fun, I always say. But anyway, so Norfolk State earned an at-large bid first year under their new coach, the Spartans. Actually, they got to host a game too, Drew, in Eccles. They hosted Loyola Chicago on Saturday. And they, too, unfortunately, were not able to hold serve at home as they lost 58-54. So Norfolk State.
The one team that went on the road won. The two teams that hosted lost.
Exactly. There you go.
That doesn't.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up all of the HBCU basketball teams. And again, who's remaining? Well, it's the Langston University Lions. The men's team are playing in the Fab Four Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, against Ave Maria, the 4 seed versus the 3 seed. That game will be on Urban Edge Network. Find it on your streaming play stores, whether you have Google or Apple. And as Drew said earlier in the show, be ready for the pop-up ads. And then Maryland Eastern Shore women play in the second round of the WNIT on Tuesday, March 24th at Youngstown State, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time is the scheduled tip-off. That will probably be on ESPN+. All right. Well, what else, Drew?
And it is, Brian. It is on Plus.
Okay. It is on Plus. Good.
Yeah. I just went and verified that.
Good stuff. Well, just kind of, I think we kind of hit most of the stuff that, we were going to hit and talk about. There are other stories out there. But
I'll probably get into some baseball, Brian, next week, Brian. Baseball and softball. We're not going to do it today, but, things are interested in our two conferences that play baseball, the SIAC and the SWAC.
Yeah, the SWAC is in just finishing weekend number 2, series weekend number 2. How many weekends into play are they in the SIC conference?
Week 5, I believe. Week 6.
Wow, okay.
It started the second weekend in February, I believe. So,
okay.
Week 6. I believe this is week 6.
Week 6.
Yeah, we just finished week 6.
Okay.
And yes, I will say it. Morehouse is in the upper half.
Okay.
In the upper third of the SIAC.
Can't forget about NEC baseball.
Everybody else has. Why not us? And we'll get into HBCU AC, and we'll get into each respective conferences softball also next week.
I thought did I pull up the Black College Invitational Tournament?
Oh, yeah, that is this weekend.
Let me see. I've seen some things posted. Let's see. I'm going to go right here to the website just in case. Let's see. All right. So the tournament, The BCIC begins Friday, March 27th and concludes on Saturday, March 28th from the Virginia State University Multipurpose Center. Let's see. You have a women's CIAA versus SIC matchup in session 1. Virginia State University versus Benedict College at noon on Friday. Followed up at 2 o'clock by Bowie State University against Central State University. Then in session 2, you have a men's CIAA versus SIAC matchup between Bluefield State University versus Central State University and Virginia State versus Edward Waters. So those are the men's and the women's. The winners of each game will compete in the championship on Saturday. The women's Division II championship game is at noon. The men's Division II championship is at 2:30. And again, I'm going to go back to that tweet from Coach Robert Jones from a couple days ago, where he says, I can't believe more HBCUs didn't take advantage of Dr. Wes Bellamy's BCIC Invitational. Guaranteed money to help your NIL funds, and we all need it. Postseason play and expenses covered. That's a win-win with no CBI, NIT, or CIT. Think forward. So, hey. Shout out to Coach Jones, who's already looking for scheduling opportunities for 26-27, looking for quality mid-majors to start a home-and-home series here at Eccles.
Good luck. And the reason I say that is because of what he's done recently. Finding that quality opponent becomes difficult because Norfolk is not an easy win. Sometimes the success hurts you. In this case, this is one of the ways it does.
Well, look, okay. I've said it. We said it last week. I'm gonna say it this week. And I'm gonna keep saying it until somebody catches hold of it. There needs to be a week, a MEAC versus SWAC week. How many schools? I think, aren't there 9 schools in the MEAC, Drew?
8.
8? Okay, so give me 8 games. 8 games. You can schedule 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday.
Who plays who?
Oh, you want to do that, huh? Well,
next week. We're talking about it next week.
Okay, next week. Yeah, we'll pump this up. Maybe somebody out there will hear us. And
I will say this. Well, Brian, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do the men and the women play the same opponent in your model?
No.
So we're going men matchup and women matchup.
Yes. Men, women matchup.
They could be different. So
yes. And in the SWAC, if you didn't finish top 8, you don't get a play in this event. I'm sorry.
So Brian, I'm just gonna put this out. So for competitive purposes on the women's side,
yes,
I have to get Southern Howard.
Yes.
I have to get Norfolk
or
State.
Southern Norfolk.
Oh yeah, well, some combination of Alabama A&M and Southern.
Yes, top 2 teams playing each other.
Well, 2 of these 3, Alcorn State, Alabama A&M, and Southern.
Yep.
Norfolk, Howard, and
Mar-
based on this year,
Maryland
you
Eastern
have
Shore.
to add Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yeah.
Historically, if you just go by historical, you drop Alabama A&M and Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yeah.
Those are two new ones. And on the men's side, the matchup that I have to have, you have to have Howard at, well, you got three teams. You've got Howard, you've got Central, and you've got Norfolk on the men's side. And the three from the SWAC that has to go up against those opponents. Whoo! Southern, Texas Southern, Prairie View.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you the perfect time to do that.
Don't say
Edwin
it.
says, when will you do it? You know what I'm
Don't
going to say,
say it.
Drew?
Don't
I'm going to
say
say it.
Don't say it.
I'm going to say it.
No,
I'm
you
going to say
gonna
it.
say it.
I'm
Now,
going to say it.
hold up. Wait a minute. Before you say it, Brian, go ahead.
I wanted the week between the SWAC championship game and the Celebration Bowl. That's what I wanted.
All right, you didn't say what I thought you was gonna say. So
where'd you think I was gonna say?
I thought you was gonna say like that Saturday or something. No.
No. I just told you the format: 2 games on Monday, 2 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday, 2 games on Thursday. Alternating sites, to find 4 MEAC teams host, 4 SWAC teams host.
And you always play the game on the MEAC site first because of the time zones.
Sure. Okay.
That's the 6:30 game, and the SWAC game is the 8:30 game, which is 7:30 locally.
Whatever. I mean, obviously the SWAC games are going to be hosted on SWAC TV. I'm sure the ESPN games, they'll partner with their ESPN Plus partner and broadcast them there. Unless, I'm just saying.
Not a bad idea.
Come on now. That's what I want, Yeah, why, let's go ahead and carve that out. So that way you've got that week. Build that excitement up. Let people know right at the end of the football season that, hey, guess what? HBCU basketball is right around the corner. Because by that point in the season, Drew, teams have already played a month of the season. And
some of those teams still may be looking for their first win. Let's get out of here before I get in trouble.
Uh-oh. Ooh, MEAC TV. Look at them. Huh? They seen what the SWAC did and was like, hey, we need to do that. That's original.
and their tagline, Brian.
Oh my God. I'm getting ready to hit the button so we can go to commercial. Please
will be that was MEAC-ish. Let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Drew. I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you for watching the BCSN SportsWrap. However and wherever you're watching, hit the thumbs up and the like button if you will. Make sure you're following us on social media, the Black College Sports Network at MyBCSN1. MyJBN, MyBCSN, if you want to make a donation on the Cash App. If you're also on our JBN network online, MyJBN online, you can always make a donation right there in the super chat, or you could choose to join the channel like HBCU Band Talk did. So appreciate that. Made for television, Doc. Made for television, but I think because school is still happening, you could actually draw some attendance. Possibly.
That's finals week, Brian.
Y'all act like everybody's in the library the whole time. I mean, 2 hours. Take a 2-hour break. Take a 2-hour break and go watch a great basketball game. I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for watching the show. Good luck with your brackets. Drew, any live updates on where we are with our brackets?
I ain't looking no more. I'm in
Okay.
first place. I don't
All
care.
right. Are you still in first place? You sure
No,
about that?
Edwin got it by himself
Edwin's in
right
first
now.
place. Shout out to Edwin.
Yeah.
All right. I'm coming for y'all. Once today finishes up with the Sweet 16, I'm coming for y'all. All right. Lots of good baseball, softball, track and field, tennis, a lot of stuff going on. Too much going on. Israel, there's never, I mean, there's no winning. You can't not want to do it because you think it's busy. There's never a good time. Let me rephrase that. There is never a perfect time. But if you do it in a point in the season where the teams have about 4 weeks under their belt, you're likely to get some good basketball, first off. And secondly, what? You can lead in with commercials about the Celebration Bowl, right? I mean, it's
Dr. Carey, everybody's not a football fan. Believe it or not. And I know that's hard for Jackson State people to believe.
Well, hold on. Again, maybe he missed the part where I said these are weekday games. I'm not talking about trying to stick anything on a Saturday. I'm not trying to stick anything on a Friday.
And your team's only playing one game.
Exactly. 2 game. Look, 2. We'll talk next week. Drew and I will put together proposed schedule of what this could look like if this were to happen. Again, we have to be agents of change on this show. I don't care if these commissioners, when the 4 of them meet, look, hell, we'll promote a CIAA SIAC, thing if you want us to. I mean,
SIAC can't participate.
All right, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
we only get 4 non-conference games, Brian. How we gonna participate? Let me get out of here, Brian. I'm about to get.
We're about to get in trouble. All right.
I might burn my buttered bread on this one.
Right. Don't burn the bread. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. Let's pick up.
And I think Doc wants to throw his 2 cents in before we redistribute this.
Oh, so okay. So we may have to get Doc involved in this in this analysis. So when we put the dates together, we'll throw it out there to dates.
You can't do that weekend because that doesn't fall with my proposal for rivalry weekend being moved to King Day weekend. Let's talk. We about to run the show over, man, with all these ideas. And everybody's got good ideas now.
Exactly. BCSN Pod Zone, please do us a favor. You guys are podcast listeners. Go check out the BCSN Pod Zone. Make sure you subscribe everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and more. Just search BCSN Pod Zone. L's up. Go Langston tomorrow, Monday night. And good luck to UMES, Maryland Eastern Shore, on Tuesday. Good night, everybody. Good luck with your brackets, and we'll holler.
Travel light, everybody. We'll holler.